Hello friends, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I just want to make a clear notes about supervised, unsupervised and reinforcement learnings. So through this video, you guys can get the clear description about these three learnings. Okay, now moving to the point, supervised learning definition. It is a machine learning task of learning a function that maps an input to an output based on the examples of both input and output pairs. Here it infers a function from a labeled training data consisting of a set of training examples. So supervised learning algorithm, it has to perform the thing like it has to map the known input to the known output based on the examples of both input and output pairs. It builds the model that makes predictions based on the evidence in the presence of uncertainty. Fine. It just builds the model in the presence of uncertainty simply by the evidence. A supervised learning algorithm takes a known set of input data and known responses to the data as an output and trains a model to generate reasonable predictions for the response to the new data. That means we can use supervised learning algorithm when we have known data of your output. Okay. So when we have known data for the output which you are trying to predict. Fine. So this is how we deal with supervised learning. Now supervised learning is again divided into two types known as classification and regression. Now dealing with the point classification. Yes. Classification techniques predicts discrete responses. That means for classification phase, your outputs will be discrete values. So to simply exemplify classification, we have to predict the things like whether your email is spam or ham, or the tumor is cancerous or benign. Fine. So this is how we simply exemplify classification. Classification models classify input data into categories, and here your output will be classes or categories. So when we deal with classification, your data can be it can be tagged or it can be categorized, it can be separated into different classes or groups, right? So that is what the point here. Based on the categorical data, we will divide those classes. Okay. Now simply moving with the definition. Here we just take an input and map that input to some discrete label. Okay. This is what the simple representation of this particular definition. If X is my input, okay, I consider X as my input and now mapping this input to some discrete label. That means either true or false. I have to predict simply either it is true or false, yes or no, male or female, deceased or undeceased. Fine. This is how we simply deal with classification. Now algorithms for performing classification are support vector machine. It is the most important algorithm in classification known as SVM, boosted and backed decision trees, K nearest neighbor, Navy space, discriminant analysis, logistic regression and neural networks. So these are the simple algorithms performed according to classification in supervised learning. Now moving with regression point. Here it predicts continuous responses. That means in regression phase your outputs will be continuous quantities. Fine. Now to exemplify classification, we have changes in temperature or fluctuations in power demand. Fine. The typical applications include electricity load forecasting and algorithmic trading. So we use regression techniques if you are working with the data range or if the nature of your response is a real number. So I consider the factors for data range in real number. I consider things like temperature and time. Okay, so I consider temperature and time as my variables. So now predicting the things of failure. Okay, when moving with the temperature and time until the failure of a particular piece of an equipment. So this is how we deal with regression. Now moving with the definition. Here the change in one variable affects all other variables also. Okay, so now I consider temperature and time as my variables, right? So if I give a change in one variable, it also affects to other variable, and your outputs will be real and continuous. Now consider the examples. Salary is based on your work experience and height is based on your height. Weight is based on your height, right? Now consider this case. Do you get a salary raise or not? It's a classification thing because it's a yes or no case, right? So it's a classification thing. Now same question as how much. How much do you get a salary raise? That's a regression case. Now common algorithms include regression, linear model, non-linear model, regularization, stepwise regression, boosted and backed decision trees, neural networks and adaptive neurophysical learning. So these two learnings are similarly done with both classification and regression in supervised learning. Now moving with unsupervised learning. Yes, in unsupervised learning it finds hidden patterns or intrinsic structures in data. It is used to draw inferences from data sets consisting of input data without responses. Fine. So here, as I already said, in unsupervised learning we don't have any supervision, right? So here we don't train the machine, we just allowing to act on the data which is not labeled, that is unlabeled. So the machine, it just try to identify the pattern and gives the response clearly. That means based on the input only. It has to understand the input clearly and then it has to figure out the output according to the input only. Fine. So similarly, as the supervised learning, unsupervised learning is again divided into two types known as clustering and association. Now dealing with clustering. Yes. It is the most common unsupervised learning technique. It is used for exploring the data analysis to find hidden patterns or groupings in the data. Yes, it just has to explore the data. Fine. Applications for clustering analysis include Gini sequential analysis, market research, and object recognition. So, to simply understand clustering, I just make an example case like, consider the thing, a cell phone company wants to optimize the locations, that means where to build the towers. Fine. So, in this case, they can use the machine learning thing, right? So, to estimate the number of clusters of people who are relying on their towers. So, for this thing, what the actual thing is, a phone can only talk to one tower at a time, right? So, moving on with this case, what the team do is, they just perform this clustering algorithm to design best placement of those towers to optimize the signal reception for the customers or to the clusters or for groups. Fine. So, this is how we deal with clustering. Now, the common algorithms for performing clustering are k-means and k-medoids, hierarchical clustering, Gaussian mixture models, hidden Markov models, self-organizing maps, fuzzy C-means clustering, and subtractive clustering. Now, moving with association. Yes, association. Association rule mining problem is where you want to discover rules that describe large portions of your data, such as people who buy X also tend to buy Y. That means people who buy bread, okay, they also tend to buy jam, right? So this is what the simple example. These association rule mining algorithms count the frequency of complementary occurrences or associations across a large collection of items or actions. That means it identifies the hidden correlations between the things, okay? Hidden correlations given in the databases, and then by applying some measure of interestingness to generate a association rule to a new searches. Fine. So that is what the thing performed here, and this rule is based as a fast and powerful tool for mining categories like non-numeric databases. That means it just have a aim to reach the goal, like they just take a place together. That means far more than you would find a relation like a random possible samplings. Fine. So this is how they deal with sampling of possibilities, either in random cases. Fine. That is what association. Now, moving with algorithms. A priori algorithm and association rule mining itself is algorithm here. Practical uses of association learning is basket data analysis, web usage, mining and intrusion detection, and bioinformatics. Now moving with reinforcement learning. Yes. It interacts with the environment and finds out what is the best outcome. So here in reinforcement learning we have two components known as agent and environment. Fine. So without these two components, reinforcement learning is nothing. Okay. Based on the agent and environment only, all the reinforcement learning would be done. So agent interacts with the environment and finds out what is the best outcome. Okay. Now agent, he follows the hit and trail method. Agent is rewarded for the right path he chose in the environment, and he is punished according to the wrong way he chose. It is simply about taking suitable action to maximize reward in a particular situation. And now reinforcement learning differs from supervised learning. Why? As I already said, in supervised learning we learn from our past experience, and in reinforcement learning also we learn from our past experience. That means, so simply considering by this point only, people think that supervised learning and reinforcement learning are similar, but they are completely different, because in supervised learning, the training data set of supervised learning has an answer key with it, right? As I already said, in supervised learning, in training phase, with the input, we also give the expected output, right? So the model itself is trained with the correct answer. Whereas in reinforcement learning, there is no answer, but the reinforcement agent decides what to do, what to perform in the given task. Fine. In the absence of training data set, it just bounds to learn from the experience. Fine. Here, So initially, here the output should be an initial state from which the model will start. So your input will be the initial state, and for output there are many possible outputs as there are variety of solution to a particular problem. Okay, here the training is based upon the input and the model will return a state, and the user will decide to reward or punish the model based on its output. So this model continues to learn, and the best solution to decide is based on the maximum reward. Now dealing with the types of reinforcement. So here again we have two cases known as positive and negative case. In positive case, it is defined as when an agent occurs due to a particular behavior, it increases the strength and frequency of the behavior. That means, in other words, we also say that agent may have positive effect on the behavior. Fine. Now the advantages of positive case, it maximizes the performance and sustains change for a long period of time. And disadvantages, too much reinforcement can lead to overload of states which can diminish your results. Now in negative case, a negative reinforcement is defined as strengthening of a behavior because a negative condition is stopped or avoided over itself, right? So we just stop there. And now advantages, increases behavior, provide defiance to minimum standard of performance. Now the disadvantages, it only provides enough to meet up the minimum behavior. Now the practical applications of reinforcement learning, robotics for industrial automation, data processing, create training systems that provide custom instruction and materials according to the requirements of the students. So this is what up to supervised, unsupervised and reinforcement learning. Hope you guys understand well about these three learnings and enjoy the video. So that's it up to today's video. So in my further video, I just want to make further applications of machine learning things. Hope you guys understand well, and if you have any queries, leave them in the comment section. I'll be answering sure for you there. That's it for today's video. Thank you.